Hey guys, it's Maymay and welcome back to our third video in our stash busting series. Today's video is a challenge. I'm going to extend a challenge to you in several different ways because this is a good way to bust your stash. Now you might be thinking, what is busting our stash? I hear from so many people, I just don't know how to use all this paper, or I don't know how to use the supplies that I have. So this series is me helping you get in there and use what you've got. Okay? So challenge number one, I had to come sit and talk to you because otherwise you'd be looking at my hands for 10 minutes and that would bore you. So here's where we're going to start. I want you to challenge yourself to make and send cards this year. This is the first way to bust your stash. However, you can't just say, okay, this year I'm making and sending cards. When we do that, the year kind of gets away from us. There's got to be a little planning and we got to kind of dial down. I have found for me, when I say, this year I'm sending cards to everybody, I rarely get the cards sent out. And the reason is I don't set for myself an attainable, measurable goal. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So when you're setting this challenge, here's the first thing I want you to do. I want you to decide, what cards are you going to send this year? So start there. What cards? So for me this year, I challenged myself to send thank you cards. So I thought that would be really cool. I want to tell people that I'm thankful. I want to be grateful. I want to pay attention and be in the moment. And so I've challenged myself to send thank you cards. Now this is really cool because what it does is it causes me to start to look for reasons to send thank you cards, which I love. But you could do this with birthday cards. If you wanted to send birthday cards, all you would need to do is challenge yourself. This year, I'm sending birthday cards. You could even say, this year I'm going to send one birthday card a month, or ever how many you want to send. Maybe you say my challenge is to send birthday cards to my family members. Whatever the challenge is, dial it down and work on that particular challenge. Now let me give you some tips for making that happen. Okay, for your tips and tricks, we're going to do two different types of tips, okay? Number one, there is a video linked in the description below where I made an accordion card organizer years ago, and it would still work for this if you wanted to make yourself something. So I'm going to link that video below. But if you are like me and you're a person that keeps your phone or your tablet handy most of the time, I think you'll like this tip as well. So I'm going to start to record this screen because this gets a little jumpy when I'm filming light. So I want you to be able to see what's going to happen on my iPad, but we're going to go to the screen recorded portion at this point. So here I'm in an app called Reminders. This is on my iOS device, and I'm sure an Android has something very similar. Now I want to show you how you can use it. First off, you can just simply add a reminder super quickly by typing maybe send card to Vince. I'll just type that in here. I can set a simple reminder. I can hit the info on this and I can add some notes about that card. Here with URL, if I've seen a card I want to make, I can even link like the link to YouTube to watch how to make that card right here. I can set the date, say I want to have it sent to him by Friday. Okay, then I can come down even further. I can set myself a time. I want it sent by noon, right? By noon. I can repeat it if I want to do this every year. That'll come in handy for birthdays. I can tag it, etc. I can come down here and I can set the priority. Since this one needs to be done this week, I can set it as high priority, which means my reminders are going to be often with this one. And I can even add an image if I want to. Now, I can go back. I just messed that up. Let me slide that back to PM. There we go. I can go back to the repeat section here, and I can tell it I need this to repeat ever how often I want it to. I can set a custom repeat, and I can say repeat this every day or daily until I get it done, right? So I can really remind myself daily about this if I want to, okay? I don't like to do that. I like to just set them up for like when I need them and give myself a little bit of lead time, and then I know I need to make the cards. But you can dial down in here pretty tight on how you want this to be done. I'm going to delete this one because that's not where I want to put it. I want to show you another option. Do you see these lists? You can come right down here to the bottom and add a list. And when you do, you can change the name of this list. I'm going to call this thank you cards. Okay, and you can change the color. I'm gonna make it green. You can change the icon. Maybe, is there something for mail? I don't know. Let's see. We'll just put this little piece right here, and then I can say done. Now what I can do is I can tap on that list, and I can add reminders for the thank you cards I want to send here and set them up that way. I really like this for a quick, easy way to remind yourself of what cards you need and want to send. So I hope this helps you in your organizing. Something else I want to show you is you can see here I created a list called birthday cards. You can come into birthday cards, add a new reminder, type someone's birthday that you know you want to make a card for. I'll just type Vince. Come in here and I can add notes. I can set the date and time just like we did earlier to remind me to make his birthday card. Now that's if I want to do it in the Remind app. But remember, you can also use the Google Calendar for this, and you can set it up with the birth dates so that you have the whole year's worth of birth dates there, and you'll be able to be reminded on your Google Calendar as well. Also, I think this is pretty cool. In your contacts, you can set up all the information you need to know for the people in your life that you want to send cards to. For example, this is Maymay. This is just, I used our work information here to show you how this works. But you can add a photo if you want. I have the name of the person I would be sending to, the business that they work at even, their mobile phone, their email, and here, their address. This is what's so important. Start collecting addresses. And I find right here for free in my phone is the best place to do it. I can also add a birth date. I could add an anniversary. What's even cool is when you edit this, let me show you this. You can even add a person. So if I wanted to add a related name, like I could add Vince to this and then I could put our anniversary. There's so many things you can do to add in your contact situation. So when it's time for you to send those cards, you actually have their addresses. And I think that is super cool. So start collecting them now. So now that you've decided what you're going to send all year and how to organize how you're going to send it, now you need to decide how to make it, right? So what I like to do is I go to Pinterest and I do the little search, all right? So like I told you, mine are thank you cards, and I actually need to make some because I'm out of them. So I'm going to type in thank you cards, and then I'll type in like handmade. So I'll let these pop up, and I'm going to look for one that I really like, okay? Now here's the thing about Pinterest. It is important that you don't copy exactly. Now, in my opinion, and as far as my projects are concerned, when I post my things for you guys, I don't mind if you copy me exactly. That's kind of why I make them. And most of the people on these sites are doing that as well. They're giving you inspiration. They want you to run with it. What I like to do is find something that maybe fits what I'm doing already or something that'll fill another need. So I was looking earlier and I found this card I thought was perfect. Here's a great idea of one. Do you see these two different colors of cardstock here? Isn't this a great way to use up some scraps from your scrap bin? That's a perfect way there. And also, let me see if I can find the other one that I just really loved. So I really love this project. I feel like this is a great way to use up some scrap paper. It would be quick and easy, and I could do it in a mass producing way, super easy. So what I'll do is just show you real quick how I would make this card. Breaking in here to ask you to hit that red subscribe button. It's free. Also hit the bell button beside it. You can help me reach my big goal this year of 400,000 subscribers. Okay, back to crafting. Now, obviously, this is going to be loosely based on that card, but it's going to be using up my supplies. And I've told you before, I love my pre-made card bases. I think they are great for all projects. So what I'm going to do is decide how much of the second pattern I want to show. You know, there was a little pattern underneath showing. I think I want about 3/4 of an inch to show. So what I'm going to do is using this pre-scored card base, my score mark is here in the middle, I'm going to cut off 3/4 of an inch. So I have this piece that I can use in my scraps for something else. And the reason that making these scraps don't bother me, this is a perfect sentiment strip. I love to have lots of those around. So now what you'll see when I close this card over, I'm gonna get that little strip where I can put a pretty pattern piece, right? To really make this pop. So I'm gonna run through and do 12 just like this. Now here's the fun part. Remember how I've been telling you I'm going to show you how to use up some scraps? These are all scraps from my scrap bin. You can see I'm a big Dots and Stripes fan. You're going to see a lot of that. Gingham's, Dots and Stripes, some plaids. All I need to do now is find pieces that work on the front and the back, Now, not necessarily even the front and the back. Let me show you why. So if I glue this pattern piece to my free edge here, so that when I open the card, that pattern piece opens, I'm gonna see the back of it here. But if I glue this piece here, so that the card is just short, you won't see what's on the back of that cardstock. So it really doesn't have to work on both sides. It just matters where you put it. So this piece is beautiful and it will work on both sides. I need to cut pieces that are 1 inch by 5.5. Now, where did I get that measurement? Well, I know my card base is 5.5 wide, and I know I cut off 3/4 of an inch. So I'm going to cut 1 inch, so I have 1/4 of an inch spot to add glue to put these on. Did that make sense? I think it did. Do you see this scrap that I've got? Here's a little bit left. I'll put that back in the scrap bin. I'm gonna cut these down to 5.5, and I'll be able to make 6 cards out of that 1 piece of scrap that was in my bin. All right, so 5.5. Now, as I told you, I was making 12, so I need to find something to get me 6 more of these guys. I think it'll be funny. I want to show you this one. Do you see this piece that I've just punched so many times? I obviously can get the length I want up here. So let's see, we'll cut 1 inch, and then we'll cut it down to 5.5. Then I'm gonna see if I can get more out of that page, and if I can't, I'm okay with it. I just got this one, but let me see. I can get 1 more from here. Nope, it's gonna hang over a little bit, and this is a little bit shy of 5.5. So this one goes back in the bin for another day. That doesn't make me sad, but I was able to use this one. Let's keep going. I love this paper. This one is really cute. Let's check 5.5. It is almost exact. Let's trim this down just a little bit. And then let's cut it down to 1 inch. And this is what I'm gonna do with scraps until I get 12. Now, before I do anything else, I wanna do some stamping on here before I glue anything on. So it's really important to me to get these creased down really good. And I'm gonna be using my MISTI. Now, if you're not using your MISTI, you don't want to fold these first. If you're not gonna put them in the MISTI, leave them flat so you can stamp them before you fold them. But like I said, I'm gonna mass produce using that platform. So I'm gonna crease these down really good. So to the MISTI we go. I'm going to see if I can do these all in one motion. And what that means is I'm gonna be stamping them with 2 different stamps. I'm gonna place this guy in the corner like this and go ahead and put a magnet here at the top. And I wanna bring that where you can see it good. I have 2 stamp sets I'm using. I'm gonna be using this one called Background Builder. I really love those stars right there. I'm also gonna be using Much Obliged. I love this one. I love the big thank you, and I can pick one of these guys to go underneath it. So what I wanna start with is the Background Builder. I think stars are super appropriate for a thank you card, and I think they'll be pretty on here. Let's see which way they lay on best. I like them like this. Now, I don't want to over stamp the cut. I don't want it to go all the way through, although it could, because the way I'm going to do this, it would hide. But I'm going to just let them be just like this, because we just want them for cute anyway. Then let's get our thank you sentiment. And let's see, I want thank you to look like this. And also, you could stamp in different colors if you wanted. I'm not going to, because I don't want to have to take the time to match my inks to my papers. I'm gonna stamp in one color. And what do we wanna put between? This one's perfect. It says for being a rock star friend. I love that. And these will be able to be used so much. All right, let me show you my tip. You're gonna take a pencil with an eraser, and this will help you line it up. Another tip, get this guy lined up on the card base, but do a test stamp. Stamp it off onto something else. You do not want to just trust that you got them right. Okay, so let's pick this guy up. And I love that we get all these stamps in one fell swoop, right? Now let's put a piece of scrap in. Actually, I have this card that I ripped up when I was trimming it. I went too quick and just ripped it. So I'm gonna use it as my sample, and we'll see how it looks. If it works, I can use it because I'll fix that little mistake. And if it doesn't work, I can edit. All right, I'm gonna use some VersaFine because it's my favorite. Do you see how this is popping up? This is why I said make sure you crease these down really well before you put them in the MISTI. You don't want that pop up, it'll kind of fight you. So there we go. Put that guy back down, and let's ink. Now all of these happen to be new stamps. I thought I had used this one before, but this must be my clean set that I'm using. So I may have to do this a couple times, and this will help that as well. I can season these up. All right, let's see how this looks. Gotta have our impressible. I can already tell I'm going to have to do it again. I can see some airy spots through my stars. Look, that's really good. I don't even think I need to change that at all. I think that works really well. Let's ink it one more time. I love that. And see, we were just inspired by that first picture. Ours looks very different and has a different idea behind it, but I think these are going to be cute. All right, let's stamp 12. So there are my 12 stamped, and now I'm just going to add glue to the back side of these strips we made, and they will get glued right down to the base underneath. Now, like I said, you could glue them to the top if you wanted to, but I just think this is pretty. And I actually saw this done recently on another card, and I just thought it was so pretty the way that looks. Look at that simple little card. Let's do that 11 more times. Look how super cute these turned out. They're all a little different, which is good because you never know who you want to send a card to. You might want to send one to someone whose favorite color is yellow, their favorite color is green. Maybe you're thanking somebody for something they did, I don't know, wedding or baby shower or something light blue related. Maybe something masculine with the plaid. You just never know. So that's a stack of thank you cards. Now this works for me because that's my goal. But if your goal is birthday or anniversary or thinking of you, do the same thing. Also, let me show you something. Remember how in the first video we said making these as a gift? You do the same thing. You get yourself some envelopes, you make this kind of card, you turn it into a little gift set. And not only do you fill one out saying thank you, but you gift a set for them to use for someone else. And then you're encouraging more cards to be sent. Isn't that cool? I love it. I really like how these turned out. You can do the same with birthday. Do happy birthday, send a set for the birthday gift, and then encourage them to send cards as well. So there's one way to use up your stash in the challenge. So that was challenge number 1. Challenge number 2, participate in swaps. Now, what are swaps? These are ways that you can buddy up with a friend or a group of friends. You can focus on a certain project. You make one, you send it to a friend or one of the group, and then you receive one back. And you might be thinking, but why would I want to receive one back if I'm wanting to bust my swap? It is a great way to be inspired for future projects. Everyone crafts differently, and I know whenever I participated in a swap, many times I'm so impressed by what I get back, it helps me to know what to do even more in the future. Another type of swap you can participate in is one with your friends or family. You don't have to go outside of your own crafty friend group to do a swap. You could actually host one yourself. Even if you're just hosting with one person, you and your best crafty friend decide to make some project and then swap them out with each other. You can also do a swap where you swap supplies. Maybe you have too much paper and you'd like to swap paper for something else. You can participate in these swaps or you can host these swaps. Let me show you a couple of options for finding swaps and even one we're going to host for you. So you guys would have seen me make these folios in the second video of our series. And as part of the challenge, when I told you in the second challenge to consider doing swaps, we are opening up a swap for you guys. If you want to do a folio swap, I have a separate video we're going to link in the description. You can also find a product link on our Maymay events page if you'd like to go check that out and be part of it. If you've ever done our swaps before, our ATCs or our recipe swaps, this is very much like that. So I think you guys might enjoy being a part of it. So that's one way to find swaps. Find people that you already watch that do swaps and get involved. Another way is to search for them online. Okay, for this one, the first thing I need to say is, wow, I need to change my cover photo, but this is my Facebook page, and this is where we're going to start. So what I'm going to do, looking for swaps, I'm going to go to the search bar up here in the top left, and I'm going to type in greeting card swap and see what we get. Now, when you do this, look what you get. You get all of these groups that are options, or you also get some posts from the past about swaps. Let's do this see all under the groups. When you click on see all, look how many groups there are out there. Now, here's what I want to tell you. I am not affiliated with any of these groups. I just want to show you how you could find some swaps. Once you sign up to join one of these groups, you'll want to read their rules. You'll want to make sure that it fits what you're wanting to do. And I wouldn't join a swap group and then join a swap the same day. I join the group, kind of read around and see kind of the feeling of the group before I just jumped in. But I'm that way with every group. I never join a group and just jump right into whatever the topic is. I kind of read for a little while and make sure that group is for me. So check that out. Look for swaps like that. You can look for different swaps. That was a greeting card swap. Let's look at maybe mini album swap. Let's see what we get. Look at this. Mini album addicts. Let's do this. Let's look at more of these groups. You just never know. Now, those don't say swaps as much, but Stamper Swap Shop, that's more of like product. But that's what we're talking about. If you want to find some swaps, that would be how I would do it. I would just do some searches and go that way. Plus, a lot of your YouTubers already do swaps. Let's just put in craft swap and see what we get. But a lot of YouTubers are already doing these kind of swaps. Oh, look, you can even look under the events and see these. Now, not everyone is going to be for you, but you never know what you might find. So check that option out as well. Your third challenge for busting your stash is going to seem like a strange one, and it might should have come first in this series, but I think it's a great one. Set up a space you can enjoy and do your best to keep it clean. Now, just listen. I am telling you something I do not always do. I'm telling you something I don't always practice. Here's the thing. Setting up a space that you can enjoy means whatever helps your workflow. For me, I have my desk set up much like a cockpit. Like everything I need is within arm's reach. As a matter of fact, recently during our birthday bash, we taught from my desk. Every teacher taught from my desk. And there were actual comments from the teachers about how convenient everything was located. It's not extremely pretty, but it functions really well. Now to the cleaning part. Here's what I have found in my own self. If I will craft, complete a project, and clean up after it, I am much more likely to head back into my craft space and make my next one because I'm not bogged down by the last one I did. What I mean by that is when I go into my work surface and it's covered with what I had done recently, I'm sometimes like, I don't want to clean that up, therefore I won't start another project. And I heard somebody say one time, I thought this was brilliant. They said, don't put it down, put it away. And although I have not been perfect at that, and although if you looked at my room right now, you would laugh at me telling you this, I will tell you that even in this video series, what I have tried to do is when I've finished a video, I've tried to clean up after that one so that my brain can be fresh for the next one. And I really think it helps me keep my thoughts organized, and it keeps my creativity up. Another thing that happens when we clean, and you guys know this is the case, we find things we haven't used in a while, and we'll talk about that in a future video because knowing what you've got is really the only way to be able to bust your stash, right? So there you go, 3 challenges to help you bust your stash. Now, something I want to address really quick. In the last 2 videos I've put up, there have been a lot of comments. Most of the comments have been, thank you so much. This is bringing my mojo back. I'm wanting to get into the craft room more, and that is exactly the point of this series. But I also want to hear from you. Where do you struggle with your supplies? What is it that you feel like you need help with in your craft room? I have several more videos lined up in this series, but I want to make sure I'm touching on things that are really affecting you where your crafting is concerned. The biggest thing for me, and this is kind of where my heart is, I love the new products. I love the new papers, but I, like you, have to be careful not to let it all bottleneck, and then I just have a collection and not supplies, right? So that's what we're trying to head off in this stash busting series. Thank you so much for being a part of it, for watching it. You guys are blowing me away with the likes and the comments and all the support. Also, thank you for subscribing. You're helping me reach that goal. I really think we might reach it, 400,000 by the end of the year. If you don't know about that, just click the red subscribe button. It's free on YouTube, and you can help me reach that big goal this year. Thanks so much for being here today, and until next time, bye now.